Welcome to The Trade. This is your host, Theo Goodman, and I'm here today with Josh. How's it going, Josh? Thanks for coming on.
Good, Theo. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So you have some pretty interesting charts. You use the cloud a lot, and you also have an interesting futures premium indicator that you've been working on, and you're also going to talk to us a little bit about volume. Is the volume chart the first chart you're going to show us?
It is, yes. And the futures and spot indicator is actually written by the dude, so that wasn't me. I just used
Okay, great.
it.
Okay.
So all credit goes to him.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I just wanted to point out the volume. So this is long-term view, and you can see we had all this volume, fake or not. So this is a couple of days ago on OKCoin, BTC-CNY. You can see all this volume and flat zone of nothingness, and then after we sort of broke out, the volume never came back to that level. So the question is, was that real? Can we surpass or meet that volume again? Is that what it will take to break out definitively? So that's just a look at the volume that's going on right now. Something to look at across all the exchanges. And then we have, so back in, let's see, what was this? September, I took a look at, so I double my cloud, which is a little different. It allows for better signals, I think, less false signals. So the idea back in September was if we can break through the cloud, there's a very high probability we're going to hit the other edge of the cloud here. And you can see we did. So this is all unedited from September, and you can follow it on Twitter, and I posted all there. But the good news for the bulls is we broke the cloud. We're continuing to form an ascending triangle, and we should hit the other end, which is 585, 620-ish on Bitstamp. And this was a temporary ceiling because of this Kijun level. Any line on the cloud that's flat and long is a very important level based on support and resistance. They're common areas where the price will try to return to. So if we look at the weekly cloud, a single cloud this time, again, we can see, so if price is above the cloud, it's bullish, and we can see that it's bullish because it's above the cloud. The question is whether or not we return to this flat Kumo level, which is going to act as a magnet for the price, or we spike up to the R1 here around, again, 580. So there's some confluence there with the doubled cloud. And you can see it might happen around June 6th. Again, I'm looking for volume to definitively break out of this triangle nonsense. So that's where we kind of were and where we are. So let's look at what I'm worried about currently. So this was March 31st. This sort of thin cloud formation started, and you see that anytime there's sort of sideways action, and it means that when price is in this zone, which is the 23rd to the 30th now, there's a lack of support or resistance in this area. So in this case, it's above the cloud, so there's a lack of support here. So then we look at this. We had this nice rally, and I was looking for pullback, and it happened. We had a growing bear div. We had 3 drives, shooting star. This 440 level looked really good on hourly. So I was saying, that's a good place for your bids. It's known as the Kijun bounce. And then as that continued to form, we can see this thing called the C-clamp, where the Tenkin and the Kijun sort of flatten out. And again, it's a flat level, so there's a high probability that the price will return to that zone. RSI never broke out of this resistance. Then if we look a little further, let me find it here. So anyway, we ended up breaking down to that level. which was 450 Phoenix, I think.
Yeah, well, it wicked down to
Right.
below 440, but yeah, it did the Jake Cages and bounce definitely
Yeah.
on more than one time frame too, no matter what
Yeah.
cloud you used.
It did, and more than one time frame, more than one exchange, and really the exchange to watch was China. They generally, for me, they generally follow the cloud the best, but I chart Finex anyway just because it's in USD. And this is what I'm ultimately worried about this time is this repeated double tops at 3K. And so my argument here was that each double top, it's kind of obvious. We have a Dragonfly Doji here, Dragonfly here. We'd get the Dragonfly. This isn't updated to today. This is April 21st. But we can see we had the breakdown to this level, the Dragonfly again. So the question is whether or not we're going to make this double top again or not, or if we're going to break through. I think if we make the double top, that's a really bad situation because of what I pointed out earlier. There's no support at this zone like there was here and here to save the price. So based on the cloud, it should just go right through, and that would be a breakout to the downside. And we'd see that lower 333 level is what I would be looking for. And I think I had one more chart. So then if we look at right now what happened, I was looking, so the pullback happened and I was looking for a return to the, again, flat line, Kijun, flat Kumo magnet. And that did happen. So we had a Kumo breakout here on the hourly, which if I look at last time that happened, we had this nice trend. And we did get the bullish TK cross. This isn't updated. This was a few hours ago. And 453 is still a good bid. And then one more chart here. So if I looked at the premiums, which I wasn't really paying attention to while this was sort of breaking out of the triangle here. So this is futures versus spot, and the green is the weekly premium, and the blue is the quarterly. And you can see on the last bubble, the weekly kind of followed with quarterly very closely. But throughout this triangle, weekly kind of hasn't followed through, and it hasn't followed through the least recently. You can see this massive premium on quarterly that just never got followed through with weekly. So it's only a correlation, but it's worth looking at the next time this happens.
So in the times that it did happen, the weekly, like let's see on November, the weekly really spiked up on its premium, as did the quarterly. And you're saying this time there was just a slight premium on weekly, but a massive premium on quarterly, and so it didn't follow through.
Right, and there was almost no premium for a while here, several days, even a negative premium on weekly compared to spot. This white line is the average of CNY minus Stamp and Finex. So yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know why that was. I'm guessing these massive contract holders loaded up the boat on quarterly, and that's why we see this premium here and not on weekly.
Maybe it would be interesting I've just thought of it right now when we were talking, to also note on that chart when the new quarterly contracts have come out, and to see if that has any correlation to any of these movements in premium, because sometimes there's some big price movements when the new quarterlies come out, or new bi-weeklies and so on. So I think it might be interesting to chart that too.
Yeah, I had this idea a while back where quarterlies closed and opened kind of determined the rest of the quarter. This quarter's been flat pretty much, so it hasn't really panned out yet, but I'll have to revisit that. Yeah,
definitely.
Interesting to see.
So you have
one more chart.
I
have Ethereum. I can't leave without Ethereum. So Ethereum is death. Dump it. Vitalik, however you say his name, he knows what to do. He's dumping it. So this is my cloud for Ethereum. You can see we typically see this. I don't know. There's got to be some reason, some wave theory or whatever. You see like a stab down and then a recovery, and then a momentum back down. And I see this over and over again with the cloud. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but
Yeah, well, what it did is it broke out and then well, on your cloud it broke down and it tested the top of your cloud and then it broke down again. So it's kind of like an ABC in Elliott wave. And the Elliott wave people can comment about it, but that's basically what I see.
Yeah, and you can see like the Kijun in the cloud, like you said, held it down. So this was resistance here, and it didn't break back up because I think it's sort of inverse correlative with Bitcoin, which is breaking up. So Ethereum should break down. Bitcoin should continue to break up. So Ethereum should continue to break down. I don't think there's any reason to hold on to this, especially if we break the double top. I think that's like the key area to watch for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And RSI is just going down. So yeah, it doesn't look good for Ethereum.
Right, and that's cool. And I don't have a Ethereum chart handy, but if you put the lagging line on there, the lagging line is even under the cloud right now too on the standard. So it's also another confirmation that, it's in a bear mode right now for Ethereum.
Yeah, it's bear for sure.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. Okay, I'm going to go over a few charts too. Right now I've got gold. So gold is this is the week, this is the daily, and you can see it pretty much exploded last 2 days and broke a key level there at 1283. And I think it looks good. It looks like it's breaking out, but it's pretty far away from the Kijun and the I think that at some point it's going to need to retest that before it continues up. Now, let's see here. Here's the weekly. And look at that weekly candle on gold. It looks pretty amazing.
Gross.
And that's crazy. And it's at this really key level right there that I drew horizontally that also relates to a flat level of the weekly cloud. So, let's see. I think probably there's going to have to be another consolidation period before it continues up if it's going to continue. I put this that yellow circle there when it was breaking out of the lagging line was breaking out of the weekly cloud, which is pretty significant. So that's clearly out of the cloud and price is clearly out of the cloud. So, I do see it continuing to be bullish, but kind of like what you were saying about the thin cloud, it is on the weekly, but there is a kind of thin cloud over here in the future. So maybe it'll just kind of consolidate for a little and then test the Kijun on the daily and continue up. But if that fails, then, I could see a test of the, let's see, back here of the daily cloud, wherever that will be. Daily cloud is also getting thin. It's thinning up. So we'll have to see how that goes. Silver just kind of has a weekly Kumo breakout that's very, very strong, and the weekly lag is just now peeking out of the cloud. So, to confirm, I mean, that would be a big confirmation if the lagging line and the price and the Kijun were all to get above the weekly cloud. That would be pretty massive. Then I would say, okay, we can go to 20 now for sure, but for now, it's been, 2 weeks of major up, 3 weeks of major up. It's got to cool off a little, but there has been a lot of things going on in the markets that, people have been, buying gold and silver. So let's see. But I think that some consolidation here, first of all, let it cool off a little. Then we got Litecoin, just a quick look. Now, it looks similar to Bitcoin, but it just looks, the move was a lot more violent the last 3 days. Look, we got 3 days of big up. And this fourth day candle is really kind of like Darth Maul style candle. But, it bounced off the Kijun for 3 days, hit the Kijun 3 days, more or less. This is BTCE. It's going to look a little different if you're looking at OKCoinCNY or Bitfinex but BTC has decent volume for the USD market, so that's why I chose that today. The thing is that it was sideways for a long time, and again, you got that thin cloud going on, so this could go anywhere, and it's much more volatile because it's not as liquid as Bitcoin.
Still looks like a great bull flag to me, though. Bounced off that 50% like that.
Right, yeah, right. Like if you like fib lines or however you want to do it, but I mean, it just textbook bounced off the Cajuns and the red line
Yeah,
right there. I mean, that's pretty
that should
bullish,
continue.
you know.
Should
Yeah,
continue up definitely.
and Bitcoin looks very similar. You on the daily, it went up, hit that mark there, and then bounced, but it did wick really hard on Bitfinex there, below 440. But yeah, bounced off that Cajun Sun, and now you showed that hourly chart. That's pretty much where we are right now at that 455, 454 range right now, and testing that. And if it's going to make a new high or not, or if it's going to double top up in the future few days, we're going to see. So,
But
but
that's a healthy wick. That's a healthy rejection wick.
exactly. That's what was that? That's one of the most bullish dumps I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, it was pretty violent. I mean, look at that candle and look at those two candles. That's pretty violent, but still, uh, yeah. After all that up, you're gonna have to have some profit taking.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that's all we've got today. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, World Crypto Network. Also, make sure to check out Bitcoin.com, the news section where we sometimes are featured. Also, follow me on Twitter. You can also follow Josh on Twitter. I'll put his Twitter link in the description where he also posts charts. Thanks for watching and talk to you next time.
Thanks.